Hi and welcome to another free.volous episode. Please excuse these little sad suckers because they just woke up like this, so I can't do anything about it. Today I'm going to do an up close and personal in one of the most raved about foundations on the interwebs by, of course, beauty bloggers, and it's the Nars Natural Radiant, let me get the full name, Longwear Foundation. Now, details about this. In my local Sephora, Portuguese Sephora, this retails for €45.95, but I've seen it on Feel Unique for €42, and I know that sometimes Look Fantastic also sells this, and you get 1 fluid ounce, 30 mils, so your standard size. It is a glass bottle, which is nice, and it has a pump, again, nice. They have 33 shades available, at least on their website, which is the one where you can get the most comprehensive list. It is available in store, as I said, at Sephora here in Portugal and online, and it's always good to compare prices, especially for my Portuguese friends out there, because sometimes Sephora is not the best option, unfortunately. This is no longer cruelty-free since it is sold in China. They decided to expand their kind of market, and they decided to start selling in-store in China, so boo for that. And it has no SPF. Ingredients of concern, despite not having fragrance or perfume on the ingredients list as far as I can remember, this is loaded with silicones, and it starts as a second ingredient, I think, and from then on, something ending in cone throughout the whole ingredients list. It's really silicone heavy, so if you have any sensitivity to silicones, this may not be the one for you. On the other hand, they claim to have, and they do have, some fruit extracts. They claim them to be good for smoothing your skin, which is kind of a bit of skincare embedded in the product. Now let's talk about the claims. This sucker has so many claims, I don't know where to begin. So let's go. They say it's lightweight, it lasts for 16 hours, and it's fade resistant. It's untraceable, transfer and sweat resistant. It's radiant, high coverage but supernatural. Fruit extracts to smooth, I mentioned that before. Looks better with each hour, and it's non-drying. Yeah, when it comes to the claims, I don't know if I'll be able to test them all in one go. I have been using this foundation. I've used this a couple of times now just to get a hang of how to best apply it, at least on my skin, because I feel that first impressions get a bit swayed when you do the application without knowing a bit about the product. That's just my opinion. I'm going to shake this. Oh, in case you're wondering, my shade is Punjab. I'm going to dispense 1 pump, and the pumps are reasonably small, but this is a highly pigmented foundation, and my favorite way of application is with my fingers. So yeah, I know, I shock a lot of people with this, but I prefer, taking my hair out of the way, I prefer to start with a bit of the foundation. And this is a very thin fluid foundation, but when you start applying it, it's not as liquidy or runny as many others that are out there. For instance, the Shiseido Synchro Skin. That one is a lot more fluid or liquidy than this one, and when you start applying it, you feel it a bit more creamy than you would expect from touching. That's the closest I can get to a description, sorry. And I prefer to apply this with my fingers and really press down the product on my skin. I feel like this dispenses the least amount of product. I can move it around, pat it on where I need extra coverage, and leave the areas that are clear a bit more exposed, so that I can deceive the eye. This is a technique I use with most foundations, and when I tried it with brushes, I found that it was too heavy. And they say on the how to apply the foundation, the instructions for the foundation, they say that you shouldn't apply too much because it starts to cling on to wrinkles and any kind of unsmooth areas. So yeah, keep that in mind. This little friend I have here has come up to visit yesterday and is making a huge party on my face. No, don't do that to me. But it blends out quite smoothly. So as I said, I tried applying this with brush and with the sponge. With the brush, I thought this had too heavy of a coverage, or if you tried a lighter brush, it would go streaky. And with the sponge, I don't know, I always feel like I'm wasting product. Does that make any sense? Yeah, that it absorbs a lot of product. So I prefer to go in with my fingers. It takes a bit more of time, maybe, but I feel like it gives me the best results in terms of melting it against this formula in particular, melting it onto my skin. So here it is. This is my face, just freshly applied. It looks slightly dewy, but not incredibly shiny. And as usual, I'm going to do something I only do for these videos, which is to apply foundation to my forehead. And I'm going to need a little bit more. I'm just going to go with a second pump now. I'm taking not even half a pump because I just need a bit onto my forehead. And yeah, I'm just going over the areas where I feel I can get a little bit more coverage. And yes, you can build this one up to a certain extent. Oh, it looks beautiful right now, doesn't it? Sorry. I have this weird, I think I left my acid a bit too long on my face. So, need to cover that. It's still showing through. I don't know if you can see, but I have a little bit of a darker, it's not a spot, it's not raised, it has no texture or volume, but it's weird and it's not covering that. Also, my chin blemishes still show through the foundation, and I don't feel that adding more of this would give me more coverage. Final touch with my damp sponge, and I'm just going to gently press this onto the skin. This is very similar to my no makeup look for textured skin, and I feel that this works very well with this foundation. On this area, I have a bit of maybe dryness. I don't know if it's dryness or if it's a bit of skincare that I didn't blend out well, but this is just not grabbing onto that area, and then it's becoming patchy. Let's see if I can, okay, I managed to go around that, but I can still see as if I had a dry patch over here. I'll show you up close in a minute. So yeah, I think it's done. I have barely anything on my hand now. I used 1 pump and a quarter maybe. The pumps are small, but as I said, this is highly pigmented. Let me just do the up close so I can show you. This is that area. I don't know if you will be able to see, and this is where I have that sort of, I think it's a chemical burn from the acids. I'm an idiot. And here is my forehead, or forehead. Always learning. For now, I would say this looks pretty smooth and even on my skin. It hasn't covered everything, but I've come to that point where it would start to pile up on my skin and look cakey or chalky in some of those areas, so I prefer not to go too much into it. So, but on the areas where my skin is smooth, as any foundation where your skin is smooth, it looks amazing, yeah? But where I have a bit of pores, my pores are not emphasized at this moment. They don't look smaller, but they're not emphasized. That's how foundations are made, people. They are tested on very smooth surfaces. I start to see a bit of creasing on my laugh lines because they're getting deeper and deeper, and even a bit on my forehead just from moving my face for these 5 minutes. The texture, as I said, was thin but still had some consistency and elasticity to it, which I appreciate personally. It is not fast drying. It is sitting on my skin. I can feel it sticking onto my fingers, and leaving sort of a sticky residue. So I'm going to powder definitely. I would say the finish for now looks pretty darn natural. It's a satin finish. Looks like the skin that has been gently moisturized. It's really pretty, but it will be dulled down by the powder that it definitely needs to be set. The coverage I would say is medium high. It's not full coverage or can't be built to high coverage without being very noticeable. Goes more onto the natural side for sure. On that claim they are spot on. It looks really natural on the skin. It doesn't look like anything on the skin, except again for the areas where I have texture, raised bumps, things to conceal. Other than that, on my smooth surfaces it looks really natural. I'm just concerned about my smile lines. Oh god, I can't speak today. Yeah, it's quite lightweight, but it is sticky. It doesn't sink into the skin. It doesn't feel drying at all. I think I went through everything. So yeah, I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back to let you know how it went with other products. So it's been about, I don't know, 40 minutes since I've applied my foundation, and I've just done my makeup, and this is how it looks from afar. The sun cannot make up its mind, so I'm sorry if the light keeps changing, can't do anything about it. So for now, I have a magnifying mirror in front of me at all times. Spooky, I know, but it helps me to do my makeup without doing this. For now, I can see that for starters, the color match is really nice. I know that it always looks a bit masky on camera. I don't know, maybe it's the lighting that I'm using, I don't know. But it's one of the closest matches I've ever had on any foundation, but that is just a fluke. What happens to me will definitely not happen to everybody when it comes to color. When it comes to behavior with other products, I felt like before setting my foundation, I was a bit weary of applying cream products like contour or bronzer, whatever I would like, or a highlighter that would be cream. I was a bit weary of it starting to just sort of drag because it was so tacky to the touch. I applied my contour with this brush here, which is very light, and I just did this, my cream contour, and I just gently grazed my skin because I was too afraid of messing up my foundation. So I didn't feel too safe about that. When it came to powder products on the skin, it behaved really nicely. As soon as I set it with a powder using my sponge to apply it, everything went very smooth. It doesn't feel tacky to the touch right now. It feels really smooth and not tacky at all. It doesn't feel like it's going to transfer for now onto my fingers. It looks really smooth. The powder didn't make the foundation worse. You know, some foundations just totally change when they are powdered. I don't think that happened. On my chin, that's where I noticed a bit more difference regarding the texture. So it started to look slightly more chalky, and you'll see on the up close. Other than that, the creasing, I know this is going to crease like a biatch on my face. I can see the cracks forming on my face. The moment this was set, I knew that this was going to happen. It's one of those. And the same for my forehead. I don't think it's too noticeable now, but I think this will deepen throughout the day, unless, as they say, when your oils start coming through and sort of meshing with the foundation, it will go back to its place. So it's either or, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll be back when I am back, I don't know when, to let you know how it's going. Hey, so I'm outdoors. This is my check-in in natural lighting. It's been about an hour since I've applied the foundation, so it's sort of fresh. As I said, this is basically a medium coverage. I wouldn't say this is full coverage or anything like that, and I have quite a lot to cover, so yeah, you can see the imperfections showing through, but it looks quite lightweight and it has evened out my skin tone quite nicely. So yeah, this is how it looks in natural lighting with the sun on my eyes. I just wanted to talk to you like this. Ugh, feels good though.
See you in a bit.
Hi people, it's 5:22, so it's been 4 hours since I applied my foundation, and I have news for you. So when it comes to creasing, the oils on my face are starting to seep through and it's starting to look slightly shiny on the center of my face, which is normal, but that helped with the creasing to stop building up in a way. But there's something weird happening just around my upper lip and chin area, which is the foundation is just separating in a very weird way, and it's just there. Other than that, it still looks smooth on the sides of my face where I don't have anything. I don't know if this was because I put more product on my chin, user error maybe. So what I'm going to do now on camera is I'm going to pat it in and see if that helps with anything. It's not something that I would not do throughout the day. I usually pat my products back into the skin. And it seems to be helping a bit. Let me just put my mirror, yeah. It's helping. It's starting to look a bit dry on my drying blemish, which is the one on this side, clinging onto it. So that smoothed everything out, or almost everything. And I'm now going to take a blotting sheet. You've seen me do this several times, and it's again not something I would not do throughout the day. And just take the oil, and it has a bit. Some of the foundation is transferring onto the sheet, and my redness is showing through. So, transfer proof, I wouldn't say that. If you don't touch it, it won't transfer, but isn't that cheating with words? So part of it has rubbed off onto my little blotting sheet, but I prefer that to having that separated weird look. And I'm not going to powder for now, just leaving it as is for a few more hours. I will have to leave for work in an hour and a half. So yeah, this is how it goes. We'll see you in a while. It's 11:51 in the PMs, and these have stayed upright for the whole day. My skin is ready and has been telling me for a couple of hours now, about 3 or 4 hours, that she's ready to go nude and be stripped off of this foundation. It's not unheard of for me. Starting to feel the foundation on my skin, starting to feel oily in a way, and feel like there's something there slightly itchy on this area here. So yeah, I know I'm ready to take this off, so let's jump into the conclusions without jumping into conclusions. As you will see with the up close, I hope you will be able to see there is still separation happening, not on the area where I cleaned up, where I dabbed it down, but on the sides of my chin. So it started to progress throughout my face. And also there's some pigment just randomly clinging onto dryness on my blemishes. There is a bit of creasing on my laugh lines, and there was even more creasing, but I couldn't get footage of that because I was out of the house and I was in the studio where I can't film. But there was a huge crease and I had to tap it into place. Right now there's a little bit, but nothing to be too concerned about. There's a normal amount of oil on my face for this time of the day and for the amount of hours this has been on my face. There is no creasing on my forehead, but my fringe may have just absorbed all the product, who knows. But overall my skin still looks like it has coverage, and it still looks quite natural. The oils have seeped through the product, and I think they start to break it down in a way that is not too bad if it's a flat smooth surface, but if you have any irregularities, you get the what I call the silicone face, because this happens to me, this kind of separation and starting to move away and move around on my face and digging into my lines. This happens a lot with this type of silicone heavy foundation, so no news for me. But it behaved really well all in all. I still have coverage, I'm still quite even. It would last for a few more hours maybe, but my face is telling me enough. This is a high-end foundation, so it has a bit of skincare or claims of skincare in it, which can add for the value. It comes up to you if it's worth it or not. I would say if you can't get a hold of a sample to try it on for at least a few days at home, asking for it on your local beauty store, if you can't get that and you're a bit weary about this kind of foundation, the closest match, I would say, is the Maybelline Superstay foundation. That's a good reference point for you to sort of experience this kind of foundation. They are very similar, to be honest. This looks a bit less heavy but has less coverage. Also, it's a lot thinner in terms of the translucency in which you can see the skin. This looks a lot more natural on the skin. This is a couple of notches in terms of coverage above the Synchro Skin, but it doesn't look as natural on the skin as the Synchro Skin, I would say, by Shiseido. I wouldn't say this is the best one for people with wrinkles, very, very strong wrinkles, just because I've noticed the areas where I have the texture, that's where it started to break down and cling on to texture, sinking into the lines, all of that. I would say this is for somebody who needs a foundation that lasts fairly long, that looks quite natural on the skin but still adds a bit of coverage, sort of medium coverage, and somebody that is not from the extremes, not extremely oily nor extremely dry. I think that for this amount of people in the middle, this will work, unless, again, you're sensitive to silicones or you have this kind of reaction that I do to silicones. So yeah, this is my review on the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. Memorize it. See? I hope you have enjoyed this one. I hope this has been useful for you. And if you have tried this foundation, please leave your experience in the comments down below. We're all different, so it would be wonderful to create a little encyclopedia per product on the comments section. So leave your experiences down there and let us all know what your skin type is and how you found your foundation to behave on you. So without further ado, I'm going to sign off to my bathroom to remove all of this from my face, leaving you with lots of love, wishing you a great week. Thank you for being there. If you haven't, and if you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe and leave me a thumbs up down below. If you can, share my channel and this video and check out other videos. And thank you for spending your time on me, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!